God, God, I love that song. Like, that was like the last song I listened to before I clocked out today. Today was actually such a really good. It was a really great day. So once again, it was a no truck day. And first of all, no truck days are pretty rare to come by, but they're also especially rare to happen so close together. Because like literally we had another no truck day like not that long ago. And just seeing it happen again. Well, I mean, it happened again this time because we worked. Because those guys they worked today's truck, yesterday. So I mean, what? Let's see, whatever. Shoot, sucks for them, but hey, sucks for us today. Shoot, like we actually got out 30 minutes early. It was really good. Anyways, up with the intro. What's up? This is your boy Asiago on 3M Thoughts. Hell yeah, let's get to it. Shoot, so that song was Chocolate Jackalope by Dance Gavin Dance. One of my current favorite artists, actually. I mean, they've been one of my favorites for a while, but they're more of the they're my more recent favorites here. So today I kind of want to start just talking about music, my little experience a bit up in it, and all right, so let's go. Okay, so where do I start? Well, let's start off with my 5 favorite genres here. So my 5 favorite genres. Let's see, number 5, and this is also my newest, it's my newest favorite. It's jazz music. Yeah, like I started listening to more jazz at the turn of the decade because, well, I thought, well, people made this, really big deal about jazz music, and I thought, well, because we're going back into the 20s, so people were like, oh, we're going into the 20s again. We should start listening to more jazz music and stuff like that. Shoot, I mean, amongst other things that come back from the 1920s. Shoot, I mean, I'm surprised that's not one of them. Shoot, we got a pandemic, we got freaking crash in the stock market. Shoot. but anyways, I started listening to jazz music, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, I did not expect to fall in love with it as much as I did, because wow, I freaking love it. I don't know, there's something about that smoothness that kind of like that really drives me in. But then again, I'm also really into like smooth, calm music anyways. I mean, shoot, like I mean, a lot of the stuff that I play throughout the day at work, I mean, a lot of it consists of freaking like screamo music or really bumping tracks. But at the same time, though, like more of my favorite music is more so, more calm, more chill, kind of taking it slow, those kind of songs. But shoot, like jazz, like it goes everywhere, and when they go all out, like when the drums start going crazy and you hear that saxophone just going wild, man, like those moments, like, and they build up to them, because a lot of the older jazz songs, like, wow, like they're much longer, like I'm talking about like at least 13 minutes a piece, but at the same time, man, I freaking like, it's like almost the entire thing is a build-up, and man, I just freaking love the music. I wasn't expecting it to love it as much as I actually do, but damn, like, I mean, the only other genre that has become one of my favorites like so quickly would be freaking rock music, but that's another thing. Let's see. Oh, another thing about jazz music is that, like, I don't know, there's something about it that kind of gives me like this this feeling of being cool in a way, anytime I'm busting some jazz music on my speaker and I'm pulling a palette, whatever, I don't know, I feel like I'm cool, and I add a little swagger to my walk, I start looking around, pretending I'm this big shot kind of guy, because while this music's playing, I feel like that kind of guy, guy, that would come out, like, that would step out of this very fine looking vehicle, freaking wearing sunglasses at night, freaking, and there's just smoke coming out of the car, and you just hear that music, and I'm seeing me and the boys, we're all stepping out of the car in unison, and we're all just like snapping to the beat, man. Like, I don't know, it makes me feel like that, it makes me feel that kind of cool. Shoot, so that's number 5. Number 4, we get into let's see, we can get to country music, because actually no, wait. No, number 4 would actually be rap music. Yeah, yeah, rap music. Cause like, I'm not just a, I'm not gonna say a product, but I'm not just, I'm not just a product of my time, of my generation, but as well, I'm just like, I'm a young Houstonian, and like my fellow peers, or for the most part, I'm into that kind of music too, that urban hip hop. Let's see, I'm not too biased on which hip hop I like. I definitely like the Biggie, freaking East Coast style. I also like more of the Tupac, freaking West Coast style. But I'm also really into the kind of styles we have here. Especially originating from Texas. Like freaking Lecrae or Travis Scott. I don't know, like. Obviously, I'm freaking young, and we young people just like that kind of music, freaking rap, and it's not just modern rap either. It's also like, well, just like my with my rock and my country music, I really love classic rap too. Like there's nothing like it, because you see, like I don't know. Definitely. Just like with with other classic types of music, there was a lot more heart put into it. It feels like there was a lot more sincerity. Like, but then again, I noticed how, like, let's see, a lot of the content these days, like when it comes to rap music, let's see, it's either created to just be like, it was created just to be a banger, just for people to be bumping out to in their cars, and that's fine and all. But there's something different when you write something, when you create something, not just for it to sound freaking dope as hell, but you also create some just to send a message, to put to speak something, to say something, and not I don't feel like too many songs do that these days. It's all about just entertaining, and that's fine. It's music, it's supposed to be entertaining, but at the same time, when you can entertain and say a message, be like a master lyricist like freaking Tupac. That's something special, and I am not going to answer that. I don't know why he's calling me at this freaking late. It's 6 in the morning. I know this called 3 a.m. thoughts, but I'm freaking recording early in the morning. I don't know why he's calling me this early. He knows I go to bed around this time. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to go to bed on this podcast or whatever. I'm dedicating the entire hour. Like, I don't give a damn, honestly, if I don't end up, Oh, he sent me a funny message. But anyways, I don't care if I go to bed at freaking 7, whatever. I got my energy drinks. I do plan on waking up at noon, so, but whatever. So let's get back to the topics here. So let's see, rap music. Yeah, there's something special. There's something truly special when you can send a message and make your track sound bang as hell. Like I don't know. Even though ironically I'm more of a Biggie guy myself, but still, like, shoot, but still, shoot, like, and just the beats themselves, like, I don't know, they sound more raw. It's like a similar reason why I really like 70s music, because the music sounded so raw, so like organic. And then, like, when it comes to 90s rap, you really do hear that. Although a lot of them, like a lot of the tracks were made with like beat machines and drum machines and stuff like that. Still, but we're still, for the most part, or not for the, well, for like, yeah, freaking, for at least some of the part, they use actual instruments to make the to make the beats. They use actual instrumentation, to create the music, that's pretty cool. Like, I don't feel like that's used too much, today in modern rap music. But then again, when it comes to modern rap music, yeah, I do listen to a lot of it. But the thing is, a lot of it's freaking modern Christian rap music. So like, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's not like the only kind of rap I listen to. I also listen to Travis Scott and Post Malone and Juice WRLD, and shoot, even XFLiX. But still, like, but still, like, and I don't really listen to non-Christian rap enough to really like, to really like, make a proper judgment when it comes to the modern rap industry, because again, like, I'm not like, other than this little sect here, I'm not too familiar with what's going on with the rest of it. Like for me, other than the non-Christian stuff that I listen to, like, really for the most part, I'm thinking and somewhat right when it comes to the way how modern Christian music, modern Christian rap sounds. I'm assuming that, and for the most part, for the most part, it's kind of accurate that that the sound they're portraying reflects off what's going on in the rest of the industry, and you know what, I like it. But I don't know. To me, it just doesn't compare to to the stuff in the old days, man. Like, man, like, I'm telling you, music in the 20th century, man, they had it going on. It's like they really surely did had it going on. But then, like, come into the 21st century, shoot, like, I mean, we still have stuff that sounds good, but I don't know, like, for some reason it's not as good. And again, this isn't just pertain to rap. It pertains to all music in general. Shoot. So anyways, let's get on to number 4. My fourth favorite genre. Oh, actually, no. This wouldn't be number 3. And number 3 would actually be gospel music. I mean, as you may know already, shoot, I'm a Christian and all. I like church music. Like, when I say gospel, I'm not just talking about the freaking fat black preacher screaming his heart out or anything like that. When I say gospel, it's more of an umbrella term, for just like Christian music in general. But definitely, like, when you include worship, you include the old organ and stuff like that. Again, it's an umbrella term. And I really do love that stuff, shoot. Like, and even when you get like that gospel genre, and like, and you just have it, and you take that sound outside of the church, even that stuff too. Shoot, like, it still sounds good. I just love that style. Shoot, like, preferably, I like it when people use it, when they're praising Jesus Christ and all. But man, but when you get someone and they take that genre out of the church, and they still, and they sing their hearts out, and they're still sounding fire. Ooh, I love it. I freaking love it. Like, God, whew. Man, we got a lot of talented people out there. We got a lot of people that, that just like geniuses, when it comes to music, and which they can take any genre and make it their own, or take any genre in a way, perfect it with their own style, whatever. It's all Gucci, it's all good. Let's see. So let's get on to number 2. Number 2 is country. Country is my second favorite genre. I thought that burp would be bigger. Anyways, country, man. Whew. Like, I really do love it. Like, it's, I don't know, to me, it's kind of weird why I actually started listening to it. Because here's the thing, throughout most of my, throughout most of my life, country, I never really listened to country all that much, because, well, first of all, nobody really wanted to play it around me. But second of all, despite the fact that we live in Texas, you would think this would be the number one place that kind of music would be played in. But like, most people around me growing up, they didn't like country. They hated it with a passion, some of them. So, like, so it's not like I really listened to country, and I never really took that initiative to listen to it, for myself, to see if I actually liked it. But all I knew was that, you know, like whenever I would hear it on TV or whatever, or whenever I'd hear it occasionally on the radio, I never had a problem with it, you know. So I mean, I thought to myself one day, you know, why not listen to it more? And the reason why I wanted to start listening to it more was because when I first started working over here at Walmart, you know, they had me working, you know, I was in the remodel, you know, and after they took me out of the warehouse and brought me back to the store, they had me working outside most of the day. And I don't know, like something felt right about, you know, to me, something felt right about, you know, blasting country music while, you know, being on the forklift all freaking day, and being hard at work. I don't know, like, there's something about country that, you know, that kind of you know, keeps me going. You know, it's kind of like how, you know, you play Mexican music while you're cleaning. No, it's not racist, but trust me, I'm Hispanic, and I say that's not racist. But you put on Mexican music while freaking you know, while you're cleaning, and I don't know, like, or at least to me, it motivates me, you know, to clean more. I don't know why. It just kind of makes it fun, and adds that, you know, that flavor. And I feel that's what country does, you know, for me whenever, you know, I'm hard at work. And these days I'm not working outside very much. Like almost not at all, but still though, like I still bump it because I love the sound, and and again, I really love the freaking like old school country songs. Like I'm talking about stuff from like the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, man. Like we're talking about Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, DeGlen Campbell, Patsy Cline, freaking Loretta Lynn. Let's see, who else? Dolly Parton, man. Whew, man, you got some really good voices up in there. You got some good iconic voices. You know, you got voices that shaped the entire industry. That gave it that signature sound that, you know, that freaking half the people in this country hate, half the people in this country love. You know, you know, these people brought out, you know, this genre, not only made it their own, but defined it. And then nowadays, you know, they're not really, you know, out making music anymore, because a lot of them are either retired or dead. But don't get me wrong, I do like modern country. I just prefer the old stuff better. I mean, hell, one of the preset radio stations on my car is I think it's 91.7. No, it's 97.1. I get them mixed up, but it's called Country Legends, and they play nothing but the old school stuff, and I freaking love it. Like, I love it to death, man. Shoot, like, I mean, just I don't know. To me, it just being a hardworking man and being a native Texan, I don't know. It just feels right for me. You know, I don't know. It feels like it completes me. I feel like I wouldn't be, you know, myself, you know, without that genre. I don't know. God. And let's see. So when it comes to modern country, I do love the modern sound of it. You know, I do. You know, it don't sound bad at all. It don't. At least not to my ears. And shoot, like, I don't know. When I hear it, I think of Good Times, or I think of, like, you know, I think, you know, there's more like. Well, not more. I think it's more focused on emotion. You know, it's made to either you know, shoot, like, now sometimes, you know, it lifts you up. Sometimes it just gets you in that mood when, you know, when you're partying. Because I mean, that's what a lot of country music, you know. I mean, that's what I see it, you know, being geared towards is the party scene, and it does a real good job at that. And but the thing is, though, I really don't like whenever like there are a lot of aspects of modern country that I don't like, and that's the whole, like, rap and pop genre, like, bleeding into it. Now, I mean, now I don't have a problem with a little bit of pop bleeding into country, because, you know, you give just the right amount and it sounds really good. It really fits the party scene, and it really gives modern country that definitive sound that separates it, you know, from the country of old. But the thing is that I really don't like it whenever, like, the rap genre starts bleeding into it. Because, again, first of all, I've already explained this a few episodes ago. I do not like country rap. I absolutely hate that. If there is a genre that I absolutely cannot stand, it's that one, and so far only that one. Like, those two should not freaking mix. They don't go together. Like, literally every other freaking type of music can, like, blend together flawlessly. But when it comes to those two, oh man, you're just asking for freaking trouble. And boy, oh boy. Man, like I tell you, the first time I switched over to a 93Q in recent years, well, I mean, this was like maybe 3 years ago, but still, like, but literally, like, the first time I switched over to that channel, the first song I heard, I mean, I think it might have been a Luke Bryan song. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Luke Bryan, but the thing is that, like, it sounded like he was freaking rapping to a country beat. Like, huh? Man, why? Why is everybody trying to rap now? Like, I mean, shoot, there are people that can rap, but there are people that can't rap. And if you're not a rapper, and if you're not, singing for the rap genre, then don't rap. Like, why? Some modern country just sounds like some freaking Texan white guy, rapping to a banjo, and it don't sound good, man. That don't sound too good. It really doesn't. Like, why do you do this? What has possessed you to believe that this was a good idea? Like, Jesus freaking Christ, man. God. And ironically too, I listen to a lot of country, but I must not either listen to enough, or I'm not listening to certain artists, because because I'm not here, like, I don't really ever hear the stereotypes when it comes to country music. I don't hear the whole, my truck, my wife left me, she took the dog and she took the truck, hey, twang, I gotta give my twang. Well, I mean, I hear about twang all the time. I hear about the honky tonk blues, and also I hear about drinking, too. I got a drinking problem, but I don't have a problem drinking at all. I mean, there's stuff like that. I hear those kind of things, but I don't ever hear the whole freaking, my wife left me, or my truck left me, and it took my wife and the dog with it. I don't hear that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know where the freaking I don't know where the freaking stereotypes come from, but I mean, whatever. I'm still on the lookout for that one song that talks about that kind of stuff. Shoot, but let's get on to my number one favorite genre, and that will be rock. More specifically, classic rock, and even more specifically, 70s rock, man. Shoot. I mean, just in general, I freaking love rock and roll. It's like, to me, it's like, this is to me, is my opinion. It's like the definitive, like, it's like the definitive form of music. Like, pretty much everything goes, like, everything can fuse together with it, and it can either sound fine, or it can either be like improved, or just like, I don't know, or just, I don't know, if it, like, almost everything seemingly fits perfectly with it, and I hadn't yet to see any bad examples. Hell, country mixes good with rock, rap mixes good with rock, orchestral goes good with rock, trap music, dubstep, freaking jazz music, gospel music. Everything just seems to flow well with the genre, and like, I can't see any opposition with it. It's like, from the 50s onward, when this genre was created and developed, and I don't know, it's like they created something it's like they created this genre and unknowingly made something that's like a general genre. Like, I don't know, it's like, you hear, like, you listen to a lot of music, especially back in like the 1980s and 90s, or really more so in the 80s. Like, a lot of music, if it wasn't based in pop, it was based in rock, or if it wasn't based in rock, it would be based in the mixture of both pop and rock. Like, I don't know, and that's the thing, like, definitely from the 80s onward, like, you just have this general genre that can be used for pretty much anything, and that anyone can pretty much, like, sing and make music to. I mean, hell, freaking, like freaking the band at my church, the kind of music they use for their worship music is rock music, albeit a lot slower and a lot freaking a lot softer, definitely not as hard, but still though, like, shoot, like, if it's that general to even like you would hear it in the church without opposition, you got yourself a real general genre. And sure, it may be a bit mainstream, but still, like, I don't know, there's just something about it, especially when you go back back into the 20th century. Shoot, like, you got the 1950s, when it was first made. It had more of a kind of like a hillbilly kind of sound to it, because it had rockabilly. That was a big thing at the time. I mean, you had Elvis, you had Buddy Holly. And then you move on, then you get the Kinks, you get Led Zeppelin, you get you get Van Halen, you get Pearl Jam, you get Nirvana, you go in just a little bit further, you get freaking Creed and Stained and all that. Like God, like, I don't know, like, there's just something about rock that I just absolutely love, like, and beyond beyond the lyrics, because, man, definitely some of the best music ever made, in my opinion. Did come from the eras from before, and some of the best music ever made was rock and roll, man. Like, oh God, like, I could just jam out to it all day, and I do jam out to it all day. Like, I mean, shoot, like, you listen to my music at work, like, definitely, like, yeah, definitely way more than half the time, like, what I'm playing is, some rock song, whether it's a freaking classic rock song, whether it's a modern rock song, 2000s rock, whatever, it's always some form of a rock song. Or hell, sometimes it's one of my many examples of freaking rock, interfusing with with different genres. Because again, I don't know, it's just so versatile. It's so versatile, and it just fits so well with like virtually everything. Like, God, like, I mean, I'm real passionate about the music. I mean, God. Again, especially when it comes to the classic stuff. I mean, it's iconic, There's a bigger burp. A lot of it's more iconic, Shoot, like, up to, like, from the 70s up to the 2000s, like, and like that like, those are like the more those are definitely like the rock songs. That's the era that in which people quote a lot of rock songs to, like, damn, man, like, I mean, I don't know, I don't really listen to well, I mean, I do listen to modern rock, but, like, I don't know, I don't listen to the mainstream stuff all that often to really, like, see anybody actually, like, quote the stuff. Because, I mean, I hear people quote, like, the old 2000s stuff, or the 90s and 80s and 70s stuff, hell, even some 60s stuff, but, like, I don't know, like, it's seemingly, like, as recent as it is, although it is 20 years ago, like, I don't know, it seems like that whole, like, classic rock era kind of ended in the 2000s for me. Like, shoot, and I may be speaking out of this a little bit out of, biased nostalgia, because when I grew up with my dad, playing that kind of music on the radio all the time, so I'm familiar with, with all that stuff. But again, like, I don't know, like, it's like rock had this, like, identity that it held on to for a long time, for a good, like, for a good, like, 50, 60 years, and then you get to the 2010s, in which it still sounds good, but then it started getting, like, you start getting to a point to where, like, you get to modern rock, and like, let's see, you get this, like, you have the one main genre, which is rock and roll, but then, like, it splits into two when it comes to the modern day, and the way it splits into two is because, like, on one side of the fork, you get the more harder you get the more harder progressive rock, that we have. You got Skillet, you got Breaking Benjamin, you got Theory of a Deadman. You got more of these these harder artists, like really keeping the genre alive by freaking busting hell, on the guitar and drums and stuff. But then you also have a more like a more softer, more electronic kind of sound. Shoot, like again, like I hear this a lot. I hear this from the more recent Ashes Remain, and even some of the more newer Skillet music. And God, like I mean, I hear with a lot of artists too. Again, I can't name a lot of them because I don't really listen to modern artists all that much to really like be familiar with them. But I do hear this a lot, to where like I mean, it's still considered rock music, but at the same time though, you don't really hear the guitar as much as you do like a keyboard. It's not like back in the 80s where like there was a lot of keyboard, but there was still also a lot of guitar. But these days though, like I don't know, like if it's not hard rock, it's more softer keyboard rock. And like, I mean, not saying that necessarily sounds bad, but I don't know, it just it's almost like it can't be considered rock. And then you have bands like 21 Pilots and Imagine Dragons. Again, I love those. I love those artists. I don't have a problem with them at all. Shoot, but then like you consider those rock, and I would definitely not consider those rock. I would consider, or at least I would consider 21 Pilots like more of like a what you call it, like more of a, well, not emo, but like some form of a rap artist, or some form of a rap thing going on there. And then when it comes to Imagine Dragons, that's more of a pop oriented thing. But for some reason though, you go to a store or you just look up what kind of genre those two those two bands portray, and the first thing that comes up is freaking rock. Like, okay, but if that's the new standard, that's the new standard of rock, then I don't think really, I don't know, I don't think that's, how, I don't even think it's rock anymore. Because like the very basis of the genre, comes from, the guitar. Because that's what started it all. I mean, shoot, back in the 50s, it was all a freaking acoustic guitar. But still, you got the acoustic guitar, you got the drums, and those are the two like really big definitive things that made the genre. And then then you got the keyboard, whether it was an organ, whether it was just a piano, or whether it was a freaking like synthesizer or some other like freaking digital keyboard that popped out all these digital sounds. Like, it's I don't know, when you take the guitar, the main man out of the show, and you try to make the genre without it, like, I don't know, it kind of like, it kind of kills it, and really it's all up to like the hard rock artists now, to kind of keep the, not just the genre itself alive, but like the whole like remnants, they keep the remnants of it alive. And I think, when it comes to hardcore music like that, I mean, I'm pretty sure that stuff is, it's gonna go on, for quite a long while, if not forever, because, I mean, there's always a niche, for harder stuff like that. But when you get to more mainstream rock, it just seems like, it's gone really soft. I mean, it's definitely a product of the times, because, I mean, shoot, like these days, the more popular the more popular genres are rap and pop. And especially pop, with the normies out there, because I mean that's what you hear on freaking like Sunny 99.1. It's the stuff everybody listens to. Everybody freaking listens to like Bruno Mars and Taylor Swift and all of them, but freaking like then you get like again the general genre put in there, and they're gonna have more of a sound that's influenced by by pop, rather than before, back in the 80s, when pop would be more influenced by rock, or at least would work together with it more. And True, and then again, I think this has to do with just the change in times, the shift in culture, because the culture is more I'm not gonna say laid back, but they're more like soft now, to say the least. So and again, the music of the time, would reflect that a bit more. So again, I don't complain too much about it because first of all, I'm not a freaking I'm not a freaking music artist myself, and freaking I listen to the older stuff anyways. Hell, freaking like most of the time the things I'm listening to, like. Again, I do have modern rock songs on my playlist. The thing is, though, is that I'm more so listening stuff between the 1985 and 2003 era. That's what I mostly listen to. A quarter of the time I'm listening to a lot of stuff from from the mid 2010s. The other quarter of the time I'm listening to my favorite era, which is the 1970s. But most of the time, a lot of stuff that you would hear me listen to would come from the mid 80s to the early 2000s era. Whoop did he do? All right, so let's move on from that little deal there. I see that I'm already at the 36 minute mark, and sure, I wasn't really planning on talking that much about just the genres themselves. Shoot. So you know what? I might make this a two-parter episode. Let's see. Well, yeah, because I do have a lot of stuff here on my notes that I do want to get to. But again, I'm only dedicating an hour like I usually do, so yeah, this might be a two-parter. Alright, so we talked about my 5 favorite genres. Let's get on to my 8 favorite artists. Why 8? Well, because, I don't know. When I'm mentally making a list of who my favorite artists are, it's hard to just pick 5. Especially when because I listen to so many of them, and not just of my 5 favorite genres, but of many different genres. Freaking anime music to the country, from Beethoven to the XFLiX, freaking from the Fat Black Preacher to freaking Slayer. I listen to all these different things, freaking and when you listen to all these different artists, it becomes unless you're so grounded in what you like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to really pick. And I say I am pretty grounded in what I like. Pretty much the way I look at my playlist is it's a rock playlist that features pretty much everything else, and believe me, it freaking does. Let's see. So here we go to my 8 favorite artists. Let's start Let's start at number 8 here. Glen Campbell, my favorite country artist. Shoot, if I would have made the list the fit 9, Waylon Jennings would be just under him. But shoot, the reason why I picked Glen Campbell, I don't know, I was definitely from the time I started listening to country, onward, I was just very influenced by his music. Lyrical wise, I don't know. I feel like I really do connect with him in a lot of ways. Shoot, I relate. It's I listen to his music, and not only do I relate to it, I don't know, and I feel like he's speaking to me. Or he's speaking about my situations and stuff. And I think that's another point of I think that's another point of music. It's supposed to relate to the listener. It's supposed to make the listener not just feel chills and feel joy, but as well as connect with them on a more personal level. And you know what? And I feel that Glen Campbell and his music definitely do that. And when I listen to his music, it also takes me back to a more simpler time. To a time to where yes, it takes me to a simpler time, but I don't know, in a more nostalgic way. Because I don't know, because when I started listening to him, it was at a certain period, when I was when I was growing as a person, growing as a worker, growing in my in my spiritual walk, growing in just all these different places, and listening to his music is like a time capsule for me in that matter. But then again, for other people such as boomers, he would be a time capsule, for their youth back in like the freaking 70s and 80s. But anyways, let's move on here. Let's see, number 7, Post Malone. Like, shoot, and like, definitely when it comes to modern non-Christian rappers, Post Malone is definitely amongst my freaking favorites, man. Like shoot, I really love how, with his voice, he's not so much just a rapper. That dude can freaking sing. Like, shoot, like, if he wanted to, like, he can release an entire album of him just singing songs, not rapping a damn thing, and he would still do pretty damn fine, because I mean, shoot, he's got kind of like the voice of an angel, man. Like, shoot, like, I mean, I really like, when I'm listening to his songs, and he's like, no, 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 he just hits those notes, and golly, like, when I'm bumping up to his jams, like Circles, man, like, I find myself, freaking, trying to match up, to his tone, and shoot, like, a lot of times, my freaking throat is hoarse, and I can't really do that, but still, like, God, like, I freaking love it, man. I love the music that he puts out. I love the chill beats. God, like definitely, he's just one of my favorites at the moment. Let's see. Here we go. Number 6. That would be NF. Now, I definitely love the sound of NF. So here's the thing. Back in high school. Back in middle school and high school, my favorite rap artist, at that time was Eminem, and I really liked his sound. And definitely part of it was because I like the kind of inspirational stuff that he put out at the time. Because I don't know, like, I mean, there's this one lyric from one of his songs where he said, "You make elevator music, I make elevator music." Or I think that's backwards, but still, I mean, you get it though. He makes elevating music, they get people through rough times, and definitely back in the back when I used to listen to him, hell, he did bring me through some rough times, kind of motivated me, to get off my feet, and fight on and stuff. Let's see, but the thing is though, is that, like, I listened to his, before I get to that, another reason why I like him was because I always have his style. You hear his voice, it sounds like he's always mad, but in a good way though. Kind of like how, when it comes to certain genres of music, you want the artist to sound mad. And when it comes to the Eminem and his style, shoot, him sounding mad all the time, it sounded really good. And shoot, like, I just always really like that. You can tell in his voice that he's speaking from experience. He's speaking from the bad times. He's speaking from the times that make that pissed him off, or that freaking brought him down and stuff. And he's using that energy, to power us up, to motivate us. But then, like, and again, I don't listen to very much of his stuff anymore, because I'm not really into the guy no more. And I don't know. I like, for some, like, the last time I listened to his stuff, I just it just sounded all like a bunch of like diss tracks and stuff like that. I mean, he's not the same guy that I used to listen to back in the late 2000s and early 2010s. Like, I don't know. It don't sound the same. Like, not only did he don't, like, I mean, he kind of does still sound the same, but, like, I don't know. It doesn't sound like he makes the same content anymore. It's like, there was a change in plans. Like, what happened to the elevating music? What happened to the music that that motivated people, that inspired people? Now, it just, I don't know. From what I've heard, in his more recent songs. And when I say recent, I mean like Circa 2 years ago. Freaking. Like, I don't know. It just really doesn't sound any different than other rappers out there. And I don't know. And that's sad. Whenever I see, like, one of my favorite artists lose touch, with what made them. What made them, or what made me like them. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of sad, man. But that's when NF comes through. Shoot, because NF he has that similar sound to Eminem, and you know a lot of people will make that comparison. But you know, but really, like, I mean, you can tell like it's inspired. It's definitely inspired by Eminem's style, his signature style. But at the same time, though, it's his own. I mean, yeah, sure, you can definitely tell it's inspired, but it's his own though. And you know, he really does speak from the heart. He speaks from the bad times. He speaks from the times that make him angry and stuff. And definitely, like, I mean, I don't relate to every little thing that he puts out there, because I mean, definitely in comparison, I had a pretty good life. You know, I wasn't abused. Freaking I didn't lose any of my parents, especially not to, like, you know, drugs or whatever. And I've never been pushed over the edge. You know, I never had, you know, all these bad things happen to me, especially not at a young age. Like definitely. So I can't relate to him. I can't relate to him on a lot of stuff he puts out. But then again, though, despite that, I do like. I don't know. Like because of all that, you know, he kind of motivates me, because seeing how he can get through all these rough times, like he can still, you know, power through. I don't know. I see that as like inspiration, you know, to say the least. No, I don't know, like, and like NF, you know, lyric wise, beat wise, style wise, he just fills in that hole that you know, that once held, you know, Eminem, you know, in my heart. And shoot, and I really do like him for that. Like damn, like shoot. Oh god. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, definitely tomorrow when I'm when I'm going to get gas, yeah, I'm gonna play some freaking hell yeah. So let's move on here. But what would this be? Let's see. Number freaking 5. Creed, baby, man. Shoot, so like back in the 2000s, yeah, my dad would always be playing Creed. So there is a little bit of nostalgia put in there. But then again, I don't remember, like, he would play like this the greatest hit CD all the time, but I only remember like 2 songs from it. but shoot, like I remember like last year, you know, I thought to myself, why the hell am I not listening to Creed very often? So I did the logical thing, and I downloaded every single song they've ever released. I downloaded every single song Scott Stapp, the lead singer, made in the solo album, and all the stuff that he made when he was part of another band. So I think it's called The Art of Anarchy. So I did the logical thing, and I downloaded all those freaking songs in a single day, and so now like every day, you know, at least something, you know, from either Creed, Art of Anarchy, or Scott Stapp, you know, plays on my playlist, and I freaking love it. But this is Creed that we're focusing on here. Like, so definitely, again, just like with all my other favorites, there's the sound. And God, do I freaking love the sound. Like, like, you know, sometimes it goes all out, goes hard. Other times, it's a smooth ride. You know, it's slow, smooth, but you still got Scott's you know, voice up in there. And man, and lyric wise too. Like, shoot, I don't know. I don't feel like they speak to me, more so that they speak to a higher being, you know, to a higher calling, whether that may be God, whether that may be life, whether that might be just whatever in general, man. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, I find it beautiful. I find it just great, man. Like, I was actually listening to the Creed when I was in the shower before recording this podcast, and shoot. There's a song. I think it's called. Well, it's not called Higher. Actually, and I really, when I think about it, I don't even know if it's actually Creed or Art of Anarchy. But the chorus goes, "If you get too high, you crash. If you get too high, you crash." You know, God, like, I don't know, the harmonies in his voice, man. Like, they really do go great, with the band's playing, and I don't know, it makes for a great combo. So here we go at the last 10 minutes of the podcast. So I'm gonna try to speed through the last 4, and you know what? Screw it. We're gonna make this a 2-part episode. My first 2-part episode. So tomorrow it will be the same topic, music. But except, it will be continued. So here we go. Last 4 artists. Let's see. Number 4. Larry Norman. Larry freaking Norman. Definitely one of my most favorite artists from the 1970s. Like, other than Led Zeppelin, Larry Norman is like my favorite rock artist from the 70s, and definitely and during the 70s, he made music during the whole Jesus movement. So the way I got into him was that I was on YouTube one day, and I typed in 70s Christian rock, and he was like the first result to pop up. I listened to his stuff, and I'm like, wow. Like, I mean, not only is it says great hard rock and Christian rock and roll, but at the same time, like it sounds like exactly like the other stuff that I was playing at the time. I mean, shoot, it wasn't as hard as Black Sabbath or anything like that, but it gave me more of like a REO Speedwagon kind of vibe, and that's freaking great because because in the 70s you had a rise of heavy metal bands, again, like Black Sabbath, but at the same time you also had a rise in more contemporary rock artists, again, like REO Speedwagon, and then you have a third front, which is the whole Jesus music moving going on, where you got all these artists rising up and conquering both fronts on their own terms, by releasing all this music. And Larry Norman was he was one of them. And not only did he revolutionize, he really revolutionized not only how Christian rock and roll was, but he also revolutionized just how Christian music would go, from that point onward. It stopped being just all about hymns and freaking like stuff you would hear in church, but like it was because of what Larry Norman did back in the 70s. It did a snowball effect and kind of inspired how modern contemporary Christian music is made, and that's what I like. But Larry Norman didn't just make Christian music, though. He also made a bunch of regular songs too, and God, I just love his style. I like. In his voice too, but definitely like the style of music that he, that he played and released, man. Like, God, like I don't know if the 70s didn't have Led Zeppelin, definitely I would say Larry Norman was like the sound of the 70s. like God, like, and yes, he released stuff in the 80s and 90s as well, but like I don't know, they're good, but they're not nearly as good as the stuff he released back in the freaking 70s, man. Like, my God. Ooh. And sure, like, even before being a solo artist, even before he started making music for the whole Jesus movement, freaking he was also in this band called People. Man, they released a song called I Love You. It's one of my favorite freaking songs in the world. I just love it to death. So here we go. Last 6 minutes of the podcast. Now I really gotta speed this up. Let's see. So here we go. Number 3, Dance Gavin Dance. Oh boy, I started listening to these guys whenever I started working in the back room, and Dance Gavin Dance, their songs would always be played, on somebody's speaker, they would always be played on somebody's speaker, when we would unload the trucks back then, and God, like, freaking. So it's a modern hardcore band, but like, it's not just screamo though. And like the screamo sounds really good, but as well though, like they have this really on the harmony in the lead singer's voice, because not only does he scream, he's like yeah, but he's also like he has a really good like singing voice too. Like he can hold notes for long periods of time, and like it just sounds really good. Like it's kind of bizarre to have these two different types of singing, not only in like the same songs, but coming out of the same artist's mouth, and it just sounds absolutely freaking beautiful. And again, freaking Chocolate Jackalope, what I just played at the beginning of this podcast, that was Dance Gavin Dance. God, like I mean, I love the death out of them. Let's see, my favorite two songs from them are Flash and Chocolate Jackalope. So so if you want to check those guys out, hell, like they're the staple of Cap 2, from my back room guys out there. So here we go. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2, Led freaking Zeppelin. Like, my God, if my number 1 didn't exist, Led Zeppelin would have been number 1 a long time ago, man. Freaking, like, first of all, they created Stairway to Heaven. Like, one of the best musical pieces written by any human in all human history. Freaking Stairway to freaking Heaven. Like, it was such a beautiful song. But then these same artists also made Immigrant Song. They made freaking Kashmir. They made Black Dog. They made freaking like, what's that? Baby, I'm Gonna Leave You. They made freaking Hey, What Can I Do? They created all these freaking songs. They're so diverse. Like, I mean, shoot, but they keep the same sound and style. All the same rhyme and reason, but man, like, they created all these different kinds of songs, and it just all sounds so nice. It sounds so, like, I don't know, spiritually and just high inducing. Like, God, like, ooh, like definitely they're like the sound of the 70s right there. Just so diverse, so just unique, like just so beautiful, brother. God, man, I freaking love Led Zeppelin to death. So here we go, the last 2.5 minutes of the podcast. Let me move on to my number 1, which is Petra. A classic rock band, starting off from like the early 70s. And so they had a good run, from 1972 all the way to 2003. Hell, let's see, and again, it's another Christian rock band, but except though, like, so definitely, like, they would always change your sound, with the coming times. Like back in the 70s, they had again another more of an REO Speedwagon kind of sound, but then in the 80s, like there's so many different types of music, being played back in the 80s, that you listen to any of Petra's songs from the 80s, it's gonna sound like the most 80s song ever, and within good reason, and it sounds absolutely awesome. If you love 80s music, check out Fired Up by Petra right now. It's so good. And then in the 90s, they had more of that rough, that more rough and gritty kind of sound of, like, the grunge bands back in the day. And then when you get to the early 2000s, man, it's all freaking heavy. It's all heavy, like Creed and Stained and all that. Like, man, like, damn, like, they really changed their freaking sound up with the times, and it matches freaking beautifully. And lyrical wise, definitely they bring in freaking, I don't know, like, Bob Hartman is like a freaking master when it comes to, like, making lyrics for freaking we're making good Christian lyrics for a rockin' Christian band. So here we go, last 45 seconds of the podcast. I would like to talk about them a little bit more, but I don't want to get cut off. So thank you for making it this far. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Do what you will. This is a 2-part episode. Part 2 will be released tomorrow. So here we go. This is your boy. I'll see y'all go on 3M Thoughts, signing off at 6:52 a.m. Good night, good morning, what have you. Have a good one.